I'm Alicia.
And I'm Maddie.
And welcome to the Fangirl Diaries, a podcast where we talk about our obsessions,
Reminisce about our teen icons,
and explore the books, movies, and shows that made us the incredibly nerdy 30-somethings that we now are.
Oh, we're starting in an excitable mood today.
Yeah, I'm really excited to talk about this.
You hadn't even pressed record necessarily, and you were singing the song.
Bless my soul.
It's too good.
It's
okay,
just the best.
For anyone who has not recognised what it is we're talking about today, we are reminding ourselves of the true greatness, the heroic greatness. What makes a true hero of a Disney film? It is Disney's Hercules.
Which, I'm pretty sure this is both of our favourite Disney movie.
It is.
I think it's my absolute all-time favourite.
We were talking about what should we do an episode on where we basically need very little revision.
No prep required.
No prep required. Where it's not like we're going to have to go back into watching Game of Thrones or something, which we will do. We keep saying we're going to do it. We will do it. And I just text you, Hercules, and you were like, yes.
Yes. I just love this movie.
I was thinking about this and I thought this might sound like it's a bit of a detour from our usual content, but I guarantee as we talk about it, it is not.
It's not, okay.
It turns out that we love it for a reason.
Yeah.
And it's actually quite similar to a bunch of the other stuff we talk about.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's our favourite.
It's our favourite. We have to acknowledge this, it is not everyone's favourite. And this is what I was just looking up because I know of the Disney era that it was a part of, which was the 90s Renaissance era, it did not do as well as Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Little Mermaid. All of these are classic, amazing movies. I'm not knocking any of them. But for a lot of people, Hercules was less well known and therefore is not on the top of everyone's list. But for some reason, both of us are just obsessed with it.
Okay, why? This is what we're going to have to explore. Why we love this film so much. But also, I'm convinced it's not just entirely subjective. I've got rationale.
I'm looking forward to hearing it.
Why I think this is objectively one of the best.
One of the things that stands out to me immediately is the music.
Definitely.
The music in this film, it's basically all gospel and soul, and it's so energetic and just cool, and it's fast paced and it fits with the story, and obviously Disney does that in other movies, but I love the kind of soul influence, R&B influence. It's so good.
This movie makes me feel so incredibly happy every time I watch it. And it's different from, it sits in the string of what we're calling high Disney, 90s Renaissance Disney, the string of absolute bangers of Aladdin, Pocahontas, Lion King. After Hercules comes Mulan.
Love Mulan.
Beauty and the Beast is in this kind of run of them. And yet it's somehow different because I think there's a level of supreme artistry to the Lion King and Pocahontas, for example, where the music is sensational, the animation is beautiful. But I come away from both of those movies feeling completely wrecked and so emotionally devastated. I can't get through half of Lion King. I had to turn it off the other day. I thought, I can't do this myself. Whereas Hercules, at the end, I still cry, but it just has a feel-good factor.
It's joyous.
It's joyous.
Yeah.
In a way that some of the other ones, you just think, I'm not sure I can. I'm just not sure that I can do this to myself.
Yes, the emotional pitch of it is different to some other Disney movies of that time. And that's really nice and fun.
Yeah. Somehow the sense of threat is less, even though we're dealing with a film about monsters.
I don't know, some of it's kind of scary.
Some of it's scary, but it has nothing on the comparison of, when Scar throws Mufasa off the cliff.
Yeah.
Or how you feel about a character like Frollo in Hunchback of Notre Dame. I think, God, this guy is evil. Hades is there for a good time.
Yeah.
The baddies in this are pain and panic.
Yeah.
and like the River Guardian monster who's just a bit horny. Like the monsters in this are like completely chill.
Maybe we should acknowledge that like neither of us is judging this based on like the real Greek myth of like Hercules. Like absolutely not. Like this has nothing to do with any of that. It's loosely based on some stories, and then they just took some concepts and made their own story.
If you clicked onto this podcast episode thinking that this was like us reviewing a Greek myth, no. No. This is us appraising Tate Donovan's performance as the animated character Hercules and the good soundtrack. Your point about the soundtrack is like so correct. This one has some of the biggest bangers that, like, when we're at your house in Italy and we're like a bit drunk or something, it's like all these songs go on, plus Make a Man Out of You from Mulan.
Mulan, yeah.
It's like, that's the playlist, because these are all so great. But retrospectively, I think it was one of the biggest risks that Disney ever took, because when you think about the music in like Pocahontas, or when you think about Lion King and it's like Elton John and Tim Rice and people.
A load from that Renaissance era are all like Alan Menken and stuff, like classic musical theatre writers.
Yeah.
Whereas this is not musical theatre music.
No, and it somehow doesn't fit the setting in the same way. So you've got like, with Lion King, they're using influences from like African music in a way. Whereas somebody at one point must have said in a room, like, just hear me out, guys. I know this is a movie about like Greek mythology, but why don't we have gospel music?
Yeah, like Black American music, not Greek music.
And I guarantee someone will have been like, get out. Like, that's a stupid idea. Yeah. No. And then whoever that was must have really stuck to their guns and played some samples of this. Yeah. And eventually somebody capitulated, and it was the best decision Disney like ever made.
Yeah,
it works. It just works. The muses are brilliant.
Yeah. They like set the scene of the whole show, don't they? You know, it starts off telling the Greek myths by this like kind of all these urns, and they start kind of as if it's going to be a serious Greek myth for about 20 seconds, and then just like immediately break it and go into like American accents and like this gospel opening number that's just it's wild.
Yeah, because it tricks you, doesn't it? It starts with that like the movie trailer voice guy. Yeah. long ago in something, and then they're like, you know, come on. Yeah. Would you give it a break or whatever? Then they start singing it. So good. Okay, why else do you love this film? Like, what is it about it that you just think, oh, yes, this again?
They did a lot with the characters. Like, I think the characterization, like, everyone's really unique. So, obviously, Hercules is a classic hero, but even he, like, kind of, you know, it's a fun journey seeing him go from, like, you know, weedy to strong and...
Zero to hero.
Zero to hero, literally. But all of the side characters, apart from Hercules, all of the side characters are just winners.
Yes.
Like, we already talked about the muses. We mentioned, like, Hades and Pain and Panic, incredible villains. But then you've got, like, Philoctetes, who is so good. So good. And similarly, like, Megara is, like, one of the most, like, unique female characters in Disney. Like, you don't really see anyone as, like, kind of out there and a bit, like, I don't know.
She's sultry.
Yeah, a bit slutty and cool.
Yeah, love her.
And you're like, where does this come from? This is a Disney movie. So every single side character is just really well painted.
Yeah. And Phil, like Danny DeVito in that role, is so funny. And they managed to do, I mean, Disney's great at this anyway, but Disney does non-verbal animal characters for comedy really well.
Yeah.
Whether you have got like the raccoon in Pocahontas and like Nico and Flit, but with Pegasus, who is non-verbal but has those like bird sounds because they're like, he's got the brains of a bird or something. He's used for comedy in a way that's, he's a real character without having any speech, no dialogue whatsoever. And that's such a trademark of Disney, but it works really well in Hercules in particular.
Philoctetes kind of takes on the genie role. Like, he's very similar in style to the genie in Aladdin, who obviously is Robin Williams, and does that kind of similar vibe of like really fast talking comedy moments with like references to, you know, modern day, but are completely anachronistic to what they're talking about. But like really, he kind of has that similar kind of vibe, which works really well.
Yeah, and they've cast, again, a big name actor who I imagine was able to do quite a lot of ad-libbing.
Definitely.
And is a foil for the otherwise quite vanilla hero.
Yes.
So you're right, the genie makes Aladdin funny.
Yeah.
In a way that Phil sort of has to do with Hercules.
Yeah.
Who otherwise, can be a little bit beige.
Yeah.
But hey, we'll get there. And then actually, although that is a risk, like it's somehow okay for John Smith to be a bit beige because the film's called Pocahontas.
Yeah.
And, in Mulan, it's called Mulan.
Yeah.
But a bit of a risk in Hercules that, I don't know about you, but Hercules himself's not my favourite character.
Yeah. He's kind of like, he's the centre of the story, but it's everything around him that's like fun.
Yeah, everyone around him is slightly more watchable.
Let's talk about Hades then.
Oh my god. He is such an enjoyable villain that he has been my reference point throughout things like when we've talked about villains in Buffy, or sometimes villains in Supernatural, or just villains in so many of the other podcast episodes that we've enjoyed, because he is funny and quick and has, I appreciate he's a cartoon, but like a physical comedy to him that some of the other big villains that we like in comedy/supernatural shows and books do as well. Yeah. And it works.
It's like that right level between funny, but also like genuinely dark sometimes. Like he's got he's not scary. He's got his like genuine dark moments, but most of the villainy is played for comedy.
Yeah, and I love that he has, this like he has an evil plan and it keeps getting foiled and he's keeping trying to control his stupid sidekicks.
Yeah.
And he has extinguishable hair. It's so good. So good. And he sort of has a cloak made out of mist. Yeah. I don't know, he's completely brilliant. And he has some of the most human traits. So like he shows up to the party where it's basically a baby shower for Hercules. He doesn't want to be there. Yeah. And, we've all been there. Yeah. And Hades is like, all right, where's the little sunspot? Here he is. And you think Hades is just like your average grump. Yeah. And he's quite likeable.
Yeah. I was thinking about how he looks, actually. This is an animated movie. And the actual animation style does kind of set itself apart from some of those other ones that we were talking about in the same era. Like, if you think, I know obviously The Lion King is all animals, but I think The Lion King and Mulan and Beauty and the Beast, they all have like a classic Disney style of drawing that looks the same as each other.
Yes.
But Hercules does look a bit different.
It does.
And it's almost a bit more, it's more pointed, it's more bright coloured, and it looks more similar to some later movies, things like Emperor's New Groove and stuff that we also like.
Yeah.
It looks a little bit more like edgy.
Yes.
In its drawing style. I imagine it's different animators.
It does, and it has almost like motifs throughout it. So that particular swirl that is on the kind of brooch that holds together Hercules' cape.
Yeah, you see
and
it
it's
everywhere.
used on like Meg's costume, and it's the swirls at the top of the columns.
Yeah.
You're right, the animation style is slightly different, whereas Pocahontas and Lion King and those things all look like they're animated against almost like a watercolor kind of background.
Yeah.
Very, very beautiful. You could pause any shot and it looks artistic.
Yeah.
You're right. Hercules has something of the cartoon about it, but it is also cartoonish in its vibe. There's like scrappy, violent physical comedy in this.
Yeah.
In a way that is a little bit like the Itchy and Scratchy show,
Yeah.
or like things from the cartoon era, like Tom and Jerry. The fights.
The like it's very fast paced as well. Like the dialogue is very quick, and jokes can like fly past you without you noticing until you know it really well.
Yeah.
It's really fast paced, like a cartoon.
Yeah, and they use cartoonish aspects of like when someone's exiting a scene really quickly. I think there's a bit when Phil says "run," and he does that thing where his like legs go out from underneath him in the dust, and a little dust cloud poofs behind him, it would do in Tom and Jerry.
Yeah,
which gives otherwise a show that is really about, or a film that is about like violent acts of heroism, like that real kind of comedy cartoon treatment that works really well. Shall we do our categories? There's so much to talk about in our categories. Okay, how hot is the film Hercules?
You know what? More hot than you would think.
It's a hot film. Sorry.
The thermometer is at like, if we're actually giving out our numbers out of 100 degrees, I would give it a good like 50 degrees.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
But not for reasons that you would think. Like this requires almost more explanation. It also is worth saying there's a side episode to be had here at some point. Like we have got to do, and an embarrassing number of me and my friends have done this, so kind of like rate the hotness of the cartoon Disney characters level. It's doable, and it's frightening how many of them are like an animated fox. But
Yeah. Let's not talk about Robin Hood.
there's quite a few like non-human characters on that list that starts to get really weird. But in terms of this one, Hercules himself, I don't think is a particularly like hot character.
No.
Like the thermometer level is not being generated by him. Whereas like if you compare him as a hero to something like Phoebus in Hunchback of Notre Dame, which if you've not rewatch it, because like Phoebus passed me by as a child, quite rightly. But yeah, different level. Hercules is a kind of bit of a like kind of pre-teen hunk, isn't he? He's He's not sexy.
He's not sexy.
No.
And like he's meant to get all like hunky and like big and strong, whatever, but he's still like nerdy underneath. So he's not super hot. However, Megara is super hot.
Right, the thermometer level is coming from Meg.
Yeah,
That's entirely right.
She is like unbelievably sexy.
I think she's the hottest Disney heroine.
Yeah,
By a long
absolutely.
way.
Absolutely. She's designed to be like she's meant, but like in a way that was quite wild to go for that in a Disney movie. Like she's like explicitly sexy. She's being held captive by Hades.
Yeah.
In like a slight, like if you're looking at it as an adult, it's a slightly like kind of sexy situation. Like
100%.
Yeah.
The level of sexual innuendo in Hercules is quite a lot. Yeah, that's right. She's like Hades' captive slave.
Yeah.
And also because she had been like cheated on by her boyfriend, there's some kind of
Yes, there's like
sexual
a
past.
deal. There's a deal that's gone on because like he like I can't remember the exact deal, but she's basically bound to Hades because of this deal that fell apart. She like sold her soul for his or something, and then he abandoned her.
Yeah. And we're introduced to Meg when she is trying to bargain with the River Guardian, who's basically a monster. And the implication in that, when I watched it again, is that it's going to be in exchange for like sexual favors.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
That's it. Hades is like, where's the River Guardian? I find myself River Guardian-less. And she says, he made me an offer I had to refuse. And it's like, wow, okay. And the drawing of Meg is like really, we've said like before that Disney heroines often have like an accentuated little tiny waist and like a fuller bust and all of this. But Meg looks ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, like her waist is non-existent, but her hips like swing from one side to the other with like every single step. It's like huge.
Something happened because we were kind of kids in the formative years of these Disney films. And I remember these being very impactful because these were like specifically Meg in Hercules and Esmeralda in Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yeah.
The two of them we're no longer in the like Disney princess. No. We're not dealing with Cinderella. We're not even dealing with like, Pocahontas is gorgeous and sexy in her own way, but it's not quite the same as... Pocahontas is more of a piece with Mulan.
Yes. Yeah.
These are sort of capable heroines who have like physical agility and bravery.
You know who she's similar to is in The Prince of Egypt.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Can't remember, but I know who you mean.
Prince of Egypt is not Disney, but it's a similar kind of vibe.
Yes. Where this is somebody whose like sexuality is shown to be their strength.
Yeah.
And Hercules uses that explicitly because the narrative is that she is going to sort of seduce the secret of Hercules' weakness out of him.
Yes.
They go on a date.
Yeah.
Go on a date. I remember like 7-year-old me watching this thinking, this is really hot.
Yeah, the
Whoa.
idea is that she's meant to be manipulating him to find out his weakness to feed back to Hades, but then ultimately she like kind of falls in love with him.
Yeah, she's going to use her sexual wiles.
Yeah.
That is like the main theme of this film. And yeah, her and Esmeralda, at the time, it existed as figures who had a similar intrigue for 7 to 9 year old me that like the Spice Girls did, who I was also obsessed with. Where something was going on in the 90s where it was okay as a kid to really, really love and idealize these, like, on the one hand, quite overtly sexy, like, the Spice Girls were just in bikinis all the time, but, like, also pillars of feminism.
Yes.
And it somehow worked.
That's classic 90s feminism.
Yeah, but Disney was doing the same.
Yeah.
And these were the outfits I wanted. Like, when we got to go to the Disney shop,
Yeah.
if there was, like, you could buy the outfits. Oh, God, I wanted that Esmeralda dress.
Yeah, but even
So badly.
even years later, like at university, there was like a Disney-themed costume night, and I went as Meg.
Yeah. The Esmeralda dress
Even though I look nothing like Meg.
and the Meg dress were, like, the two. But then it was also somehow, like, it was on the borderline of, like, is it okay that we put 7-year-olds in these outfits? But, like, we wanted them very badly.
Yeah, things go over children's heads.
Yeah. That was it. I couldn't have articulated at the time the fascination with Meg or Esmeralda about, like, it's this conflation of, like, sexy feminists.
Yeah. No,
But I was into it.
you're into it.
Yeah.
All right, what's next? It's how badass is Hercules?
Well, so badass, because this is an action film.
Yeah. Yeah, this is like, 8 badasses out of 10 or something.
Yes. We've talked about how some of the violence is cartoonish, so it never feels terrifically threatening. Like, if you set it against Pocahontas and you think about the clash that's going to happen between, when the British are there with their guns and, and cannons, and you're actually going, oh my God.
It's actually like real threat. Yeah.
Oh, this is going to get violent in a really, really, really scary way. You don't get to that place in Hercules. It doesn't feel like that.
It's about fun fighting monsters.
Yeah, it's fun fighting monsters.
There's like the training montage and your favourite.
Please talk about the training montage. Oh my God, I love it. It's over too fast.
I know.
It's over way too fast. And it's in Phil's song.
Yeah.
And I want, always in that film, I'm just like, can we just spend some more time here? I want to understand. He's got that little mechanism by which Hercules has to rescue the damsel.
Yes.
And I just want to see more of it.
With like the swinging axes. Yes. He has to like jump through. And it is a classic montage. Like he literally goes from being like skinny, weak, teenage Hercules to like this huge hulking big guy. And like, I guess the assumption is he's been training out for like several years or something.
Yep.
Like, and he's gotten to this like massive size.
And he breaks the tape measure.
Yeah.
So good. But yeah, I always want that song to go on for longer, which is actually a piece of like the whole movie. When I remember seeing it in the cinema when I was about 7, and when you are 7, it feels like a real epic movie. It felt really long. Now it's over. It's like 90 minutes or something. So quick.
Movies have gotten longer. Like all movies now are like 2 hours, whereas it used to be that 90 minutes was a normal movie.
That was it. Yeah, exactly. And when I watch it now, I think it's such a brilliant distillation of relatively complex storytelling into like song sequences in the way that brilliant musicals do.
Yeah.
Because I'm saying like, oh, that sequence is over really quickly. But in the space of about 2 minutes, we've introduced Phil, agreed that he's going to train Hercules, had the training, and then like rebirthed Hercules as a hero.
Yeah.
And it takes about 2 minutes. It's done so well.
The other like badass bits, I guess there's the Hydra monster.
Oh, that's good.
That's like, kind of gross actually.
Yeah.
Like all the the heads that keep getting cut off and bleeding, and it's like gross mucousy type blood, and then there's like 0 to Hero where you get like another big montage, but except of him like fighting different creatures, like doing all the different challenges from Greek myths and stuff. And it's good fun.
And this is where a thing that you mentioned before, which is so Disney, is used really well, which is like overlaying contemporary cultural concepts. Yeah. So Hades, when he's watching the Hydra fight, is like, let's get ready to rumble. And he's like having a cigar, or like
They've got like merch.
they've got merch.
They've got like those cups and those shoes that have Hercules' face on them.
Oh my god, that's so right. And in Zero to Hero, at the end of it, you realise that people are going on like tours of Hercules' villa.
Yeah, it's like Disneyland.
Like Disneyland, or like going to see celebrities' homes in the Hollywood Hills.
Yeah.
And he's become an action figure.
Yes.
So it's so self-satirizing in a way that really, really works. What else is badass about this film? The training sequence, love it.
Hades is pretty badass.
Hades is so
just
badass.
as a character. Yeah, as we've already mentioned, his like hair on fire. Oh, and
The Titans are pretty cool.
Yeah, the Titans. Yeah. We get a bit of Greek myth occasionally that might be vaguely correct to the story. And yeah, the Titans are kind of these huge, giant monster creatures of like fire, and ones of ice, and ones of like the elements.
But even they're funny. Do you remember marching up and like,
funny.
blow him away, free Zeus? And Hades is like, guys, Olympus would be that way. And then they just turn around and go, Zeus, Zeus.
So maybe that's what's badass about this movie, is that it takes things that are going to be threatening and badass and like dramatic, but like does them in a humorous way, and that's what like really works.
But no bit is not thought of, which is why I always think I want to spend longer here. Like the big fight sequence between the gods of Olympus, who look like glowing fairy-like Christmas decorations. You know, each of the gods is kind of aglow.
Yeah.
They've built in all the stuff of like Zeus gets thrown his thunderbolts, and you think, oh, I want to see this big fight. I want to see this big showdown.
Yeah.
Which actually you don't see very much of because you're with Hercules and the Cyclops a lot of the time.
And like Meg's dying.
That's awful.
That is sad.
That is sad.
Yeah.
That's very, very moving when she sacrifices herself. But is that the moment that gets you in the film? If you had to think about like a sad moment, a moving moment.
Oh, I don't know. I think I tend to just get emotional like near the end when they like he chooses to like stay with her.
Yeah. He decides a life without Meg is not. Yeah. That is great.
And that's more like a positive emotion crying rather than like sad crying.
For some reason, it really gets me when his like adoptive parents tell him that he's adopted.
Really?
It's a really sad sequence. Yeah, it's part of the Go the Distance montage.
Which is a great song.
Which is just so great.
Yeah.
It's the I Want musical song, isn't it? And they show him like the medallion of the gods. And I just want to cry for those like parents. They seem really sweet.
They are sweet parents.
When the film ends, I think I really hope that Hercules and Meg have Christmas with them every year.
Yeah.
Like, I just really hope that they do, because they just get cast off. I'm like, these poor people.
Oh my God.
Come on. Yeah, that bit really gets me.
All right, so how about the obsession fuel? How full is the tank?
I mean, I never would have thought of this as like an obsession of mine. And it wasn't on our initial podcast agenda. But I've lost count of how many times I've watched this film.
Yeah.
And I'm like an adult.
I know.
I just watch it. I will put it on. Now that we've got Disney Plus, and you don't need to like faff about with a DVD or you know, whatever. It just never gets old. Every time I watch it, I'm never compelled to turn it off. I'm like, right, I've started it now.
No,
That's it. That's me for the next 90 minutes. And we've talked about the, you know, wanting to buy the costumes at the Disney store or whatever. And the soundtrack is still something that we will play. But it must have been when Disney peaked. It was like that, the risk that they took with Hercules worked. But then we were looking at, apart from Mulan, which is next, which is
and Tarzan.
Amazing. Yeah. And then it starts to, that really is kind of the end of Disney's run of
like the real big 90s success stories.
Yeah, the ones that we think of when we're praising Disney films.
Yeah.
No one's thinking about like Atlantis.
No.
Or you were looking at things and you're like, what the hell is The Rescuers?
The Rescuers is actually earlier.
I was like,
but yes.
Like the mice.
Yeah.
Just forget it.
Yeah,
no
no,
good.
It's true. And I think if I was giving like a fuel tank side, I think it's only like a quarter full or something. But yeah, it comes from rewatching it a lot, especially as a kid. Like this was definitely one that I rewatched. I had certain movies, mostly musicals, that I rewatched just endlessly, and Hercules was definitely one of them. But you know, it's not something that I would have like buy merch for now, and like, you know, it's not like one that I can get like dig into the lore on.
You have, which is ironic because this is literally like a classics degree.
I know.
We're like, there's not much to dig into with Hercules. Like, there's not like a source text.
But that's because it's so far removed from anything real from Greek mythology. What would you do? You go read like about the real story of Hercules' challenges and be like, this is not the same.
Someone could do that.
Hades isn't even evil. Like, what is this?
But we should say that you have bought tickets to the musical already.
Yeah,
I need to do that.
I'm really excited. I think it could do really, really well as a stage musical. If they do it right. I'm super excited to go.
Risky though, because as we were saying, so much of it is like really character driven from like Danny DeVito is Phil.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how's that gonna? You're either gonna have someone doing an impression of Danny DeVito or having to like rework that character a bit.
I think they're going to have to do something quite a lot different to make it successful. I think.
And same with Meg.
Stylistically, it's going to have to look different. If they try and recreate how it looks as a cartoon, it won't work. And they're going to need a lot more music.
Yeah.
Because to make a full musical, you know, West End musical, you need like several hours of music, and there's like 8 songs maybe.
Yeah.
Like that's not enough. So they're going to have to come up with more music, which is also risky. But equally, like I can see like the character of Hercules working really well on stage, just as like a hero to take you through the journey, and like the muses will be great. Like
the music's going to carry it, isn't it? Because a little bit like with Lion King on stage. Lion King on stage does not look anything like the film. They've taken a different artistic direction. But the soundtrack reigns supreme, so it's fine. They can be kind of treated as 2 different entities that share the same music.
Yeah.
I think if they do that with Hercules, it will work.
Yeah.
I've been so into talking about Hercules that now I immediately think we should like do Mulan as another episode or something. But for people listening to this, if you want more on our interesting Disney heroines and a little bit more of chit chat about the 90s Disney, our heroines episode from season 1 has a lot of that.
Yeah, that was a coffee break episode.
That was a coffee break episode, and we get into some of our Disney heroines.
Yeah.
But it's been good to talk about Meg a bit separately.
Yeah.
But yeah, that concludes our absolutely nostalgic revisiting of Disney's Hercules.
You've been listening to the Fangirl Diaries. Follow us on Instagram at Fangirl Diaries Pod.
And do share us with any of your friends that you think might enjoy the podcast, and rate or review us on Spotify or Apple Music.